Keep informed, stay plugged in. Read next on Sunday and every day of the week.
Hello and welcome to Next News. My name is Rena Abroko. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, says it will go after bank debtors on Wednesday when the 7-day ultimatum given to them to offset their debts or face arrest expires. Farida Waziri, chairman of the EFCC, announced the decision in Abuja on Tuesday at a meeting with the newly appointed managing directors of the 5 bailed-out banks, saying that the final list of loan defaulters was being prepared. The chairman said she had received information that many of the sacked executives had been holding secret meetings and strategizing to escape arrest and prosecution for economic crimes. Olatunde Adekola, a senior education specialist with the World Bank, says the bank will donate $250,000, about 35 million naira, to Unity schools across Nigeria. Mr. Adekola, who announced the donation in Abuja on Tuesday, said about 80% of the funds would be released directly to the schools to boost science and laboratory studies. He spoke at the inauguration of the task force on the management and maintenance of science equipment in post-basic education institutions and research institutes. And the Ogun State government has inaugurated a Central Revenue Committee to ensure compliance with revenue laws in the state. The members of the committee are mainly permanent secretaries and directors generals of some key state agencies. Inaugurating the committee on Tuesday in Abeokuta, Kehinde Shogunle, the Commissioner for Finance, said that the committee was set up to draw its power from the Central Revenue Monitoring Unit Law of Ogun State in 1989. And on to Kogi State, where the House of Assembly has called on the federal government to establish a military barrack in the Kogi East Senatorial District to check criminality in the area. The call followed the adoption of a motion moved on Tuesday in Lokoja, the state capital, by the 11 lawmakers from the eastern part of the state. Presenting the motion, Yakubu Yunusa, who represents Ofu constituency, said the motion was informed by the prevailing legacy of corruption, lawlessness, ethnic animosity, political thuggery, and communal violence in the area. The proposed Onitsha Trade and Tourism Fair, scheduled to take place between November 27 and December 7, will no longer hold at the Chuba Ikpeazu Memorial Stadium, Onitsha. Chinwe Anowai, Commissioner for Sports and Youth Development, told newsmen on Tuesday in Onitsha that the State Executive Council had resolved not to use the stadium for purposes other than sporting activities. The government did not, however, announce a new venue for the fair, which is being organized by the Onitsha Chamber of Commerce, Industries, Mines and Agriculture. Still in Ogun State, the state governor, Gbenga Daniel, has directed the 3 local governments in the state located along the Shagamu-Benin Expressway to check illegal parking of trucks on the road. The order is aimed at ensuring free flow of traffic on the road, especially during the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, which will take place at Ijebu-Ode. Tokpe Tokoya, the chairman of Odogbolu local government, said on Tuesday that the governor gave the directive when he met with council chairman in Abeokuta. And in entertainment, a musician simply identified as Yellow King collapsed on Tuesday in Lagos during a hunger strike rally organized by a coalition of musicians at the National Theatre, Igomu, Lagos. The hunger strike and rally was to protest the activities of pirates in the country. The rhythm and blues singer was standing among some popular musicians when he suddenly slumped on the grass, while his colleague made frantic efforts to resuscitate him. And on the international scene, Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe has received treatment in a Dubai hospital after an illness, a South African newspaper reported on Wednesday. But there was no official comment, and the Times newspaper quoted Zimbabwean sources as saying Mugabe was still expected to return to Harare before a visit by South African President Jacob Zuma scheduled for Thursday. Speculation regularly surfaces over the health of Mugabe. He has been in power since independence in 1980 and in February formed a unity government with old rival Morgan Tsvangirai to try to end political crisis and economic decline in the country. Top of the news is that U.S. Senator Edward Kennedy of the Democratic Party died late Tuesday night at his home in Hyannisport, Massachusetts. The Kennedy family has said this in a statement. He was 77. One of the most influential and longest-serving senators in U.S. history, a liberal who was also known as a congressional deal maker, Kennedy had been battling brain cancer, which was diagnosed in May 2008. And on to business. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has vowed to actualize its mandate of assessing, collecting, and accounting for federally collected taxes. The Northeast Regional Coordinator of the FIRS, Ojijigo, said this in Gombe on Tuesday at a sensitization workshop organized by the Gombe office, which had the theme Benefit of Tax Payment. Mr. Jigo said the FIRS had embarked on a robust tax reform agenda to restructure its processes and re-engineer its operation. The Chief Operating Officer of African Petroleum, AP, Tunde Falasinu, says AP will soon install small liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) refill plants in Abuja, Kaduna, and Ibadan. Mr. Falasinu told the News Agency of Nigeria in Lagos on Tuesday that the aim was to ensure that LPG was available in all nook and crannies of the country at affordable prices. He said that at present, AP had 3 LPG plants in Lagos, Kano, and Port Harcourt, and that there were plans to establish new ones in all major AP stations nationwide. And South Africa's rand steadied against the dollar on Wednesday after hitting a 3-week high in the previous session, while stock futures were up. The market will be keenly watching consumer inflation data at 9:30 hours GMT, which is expected to show annual headline CPI slowed to 6.6% in July from 6.9% in June. The rand was trading at 7.8 against the dollar at 6:41 hours GMT, not far off its previous close of 7.81. It, however, hit a 3-week high of 7.7355 in the previous session. Finally, in sports, Yakubu Ayegbeni made a goal-scoring return to the pitch on Tuesday night, scoring 1 goal and assisting a second as Everton reserves ran out 3-0 winners over Burnley reserves. Yak, as he is popularly called, who has been out since last November with a knee injury, opened the scoring within the opening 31 seconds. The Nigerian latched onto James McCartan's long ball and calmly side-footed home. He then set up Everton's second with an intelligent pass to Dan Gosling, who calmly steered home in the 7th minute. And the most eye-catching sight in the stands at next year's Soccer World Cup in South Africa will be thousands of jiving fans wearing elaborate headgear invented by a former cleaner in his township shack. While the incessant blare of vuvuzela trumpets stirred controversy during the Confederations Cup in June, a dress rehearsal for next year's tournament, it was the extraordinary helmets worn by the fans that grabbed the eye. The helmets, known as Macarapas, are bound to stand out again in the Globe's must-watch event, giving unexpected fame to a humble invention. And thank you for watching Next News. Remember, for details on this and other stories, log on to 234next.com.